Sup, Nerdmigos, I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norcroft. We've got Wife here. We're here for another review Jive. It is Thursday, which means that it is Star Trek Thursday. So Star Trek Discovery came out. This is episode 4.
Forget Me Not.
Forget Me Not. Yep, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. All I could think of was the Voyager episode we were talking about before we started shooting, which is Song of Kalis. It's a solid episode. Belong to Taurus. Anywho, so spoiler-free review. I like this. It was good.
This was a pretty good
Yeah,
episode.
this was good. This was a good episode. It was good Star Trek. Keep doing good Star Trek Discovery. Yeah. Thank you. For the love of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you think? Are you like any of that kind of stuff? We can have spoiler-free or spoiler-full conversation down below before we get into spoilers. So, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. Yep. If you haven't seen the episode yet and you're just ducking in for the spoiler-free stuff, now we're going to transition into spoiler-full stuff, starting with the plot. So, this was your standard A-plot, B-plot kind of episode. I'm going to describe these plots separately because they interweave very, very smoothly, and it's just easier for me to keep them in keep track of them in my head.
And they don't have much relation to each other in the
basically have none.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that they're all in the same ship and like whatever. So the A plot of the show is that the girl that they picked up. What is her bloody name, dude?
Adira.
Adira.
Because you made that dad joke.
Oh yeah, I did. How do I not remember that if I made a dad joke? Oh, whatever.
You don't make many dad jokes. I'm really.
You think I'd remember it, right? Yeah, whatever. So Adira is Adira's a human. She's got a symbiote in her. So they're like, "What should we do?" And they scan her, and they're like, "All right, well, like you're fine or whatever, but like we can't help you with your memories."
But like, congratulations, you're a Trill.
Yeah, and we get a nice scene in the sick bay where she calls it her squid, which is adorable. I'm pretty certain that I thought Trill had like a harder carapace, but I might be misremembering that from DS9. It's been actually a while. We should rewatch DS9 next time we get a break from new Star Trek. But so they're like, all right, well the best we can do is maybe go to Trill, and they're not like assholes like Earth was. So they end up going to Trill. And they're not assholes like Earth was. They're like, oh shit, like you have a symbiote?
They're like even more assholes.
Well, no. At first they're like, oh shit, you got a symbiote, like you gotta come down to our planet. And the captain, Saru, he's just like, are we welcome here? And they're like, all right, you're definitely welcome here. And he's like, all right, man. We'll send like 2 people down. Like I like guarded Saru. It's nice. And so he wants to send the doctor and Adira. And Adira down. It's gonna happen a bunch of times. Just deal with it. Addie. So they're gonna send the doctor and Adira down, and the doctor is like, we should send Burnham. And he basically tells Burnham like, well, you know the like drama of losing everything, so because you've been here a year without us, so you go with her. So Burnham basically meets up with her and is like, I'm gonna go with you. And she's like, I thought the doctor was gonna come. And Burnham's like, nah, it's gonna be me. They get a little back and forth. It's nice. The kid, she's like 16, she's super fucking sassy, and Burnham does this great job.
Like a 16-year-old.
She acts like a 16-year-old, totally.
Consistently.
And Burnham does this great job of being this like sassy, cool mentor figure. Right?
Yeah.
Where she's just like, she's fine, if you don't want me to go with you, I won't. And then like walks away, and then like Adira's just like, chases after her and shit.
She's like older stepsister that's like in charge of you for a while.
Yeah, she's like, but like a cool one. She's not like a bitch about it or nothing. So they go down to the planet, and they're like, oh, welcome. Where's the symbiote and the Trill? And Burnham's like, this is it right here. And one of the guys is just like, and it's like kind of like moving towards him, and Burnham's just like, this motherfucker, if he does something fucking sketchy. Like, Burnham is the fucking most protective of this girl. It's adorable. I love this plot element that they're doing. Burnham seems so like she feels responsible for the girl without ever saying it.
And like loving and caring.
It's a very show not tell way of doing it, and I appreciate the like finesse in that writing. And honestly, the actress who plays Burnham just fucking delivering facial expressions in this. Like, so often you see her, somebody be saying some shit, and you'll see her face just be like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, just, it's perfect. It's so good. She's such a good actress in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good actress to begin with, but, like, this episode really showed, like, a lot of that really, really well. But so basically, we've got some yellow smock people, and some red smock people, and then one lady with like a brown smock and like a white coverall that's like asymmetrically cut open. And so asymmetrically cut open does fucking nothing. She's useless the whole episode. Yeah. But she's the one in charge.
Even though she's clearly the one in charge. Yeah.
So yellow smocks are assholes. Red smocks are cool. So yellow smock says asshole shit. Red smock says some cool shit. Yellow smock says some asshole shit. The lady in charge decides, yeah, get the fuck off my planet.
Well, they were like, you can't be a Trill, you're a human.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Let's
yellow
rip
smock,
the symbiote right
yellow
at
smock
you.
wants to murder her, red smock wants her to...
Which would probably kill her based on the way that they're talking and what they say.
It totally would.
So we're just like, wow, yellow smock people are racist.
Yellow smock's assholes, red smock's cool. So so they're leaving, yellow smock's leading them back to their ship, and he decides to secretly summon some guards who have like, lightsaber pitchforks is the word I'm going to use for this. So they got lightsaber pitchforks, and they're like, yeah, we're going to get you. And he's like, you're coming with us, and we're ripping that out of your fucking chest. And Burnham's like, none of this shit involves you, man. Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, it involves me now, bitch, let's go. And so she fucking shoots his two guards, and it's like, take me to the caves. And he's like, I won't. And she's like, never mind, motherfucker, bam. Like,
she literally just says, fine, boom,
yeah,
done.
She's just,
and then just like immediately turns heel and walks
phasering
off.
bitches. Just phasering bitches. It's fucking great. And even Adira's like, that doesn't seem like Starfleet regulation. And Burnham's just like, nah, it ain't. Like, whatever, because she's like seen some shit or whatever. It's fucking great. It's such a good episode. And so they go into the caves, or excuse me, Red Shirt finds them, and Red Shirt's like, I'll help you. So they go into the caves. She's got to put on like a shawl and then like go into some weird gloopy water that's kind of lightning-y. So she goes in there, and they're like, you're gonna have to fight you're gonna have to remember like the hardest memory or whatever the fuck. And she's like, I guess. And so they put her in there with like a floaty orb that indicates the level of something in her brain by cracking and glowing black gently.
We don't know.
What the fuck ever.
It's a little odd.
It's so weird. But so that happens, and then like obviously yellow shirts with their laser pointies, and the lady in charge show up, and they're like, none of this shit. And then she starts like fitting around, sinks into the water, vanishes into make-believe places. And so Burnham's like, I gotta go in and save him. And Yellow Shirt is just like, what did I say about no humans, bitch? And she's like, don't make me do some shit about this.
They're like, or...
Yeah.
She's like, or this girl and the symbiote, which you actually care about, is dead, so...
Either I touch the water, or the thing that you want to try to protect is dead. You figure it the fuck out yourself. So she goes in the water, she sinks in, she gets transported to Dreamland.
In order for her to get transported to what is basically the Upside Down, they have to put, like, double-sided laser swords. Yeah. But, like, they're not just, like, laser swords. They're like lightsabers with that are, like, you know, kind of the glass edges.
They're like the plastic. They're like a toy lightsaber.
Yeah, but instead of a lightsaber inside, it's like, you know those balls that you touch where they, like, electricity to your fingers?
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, she's right.
I just didn't
know where she was going with balls you touch. Like, all right, let's see how invalidated this fucking YouTube video gets. But so whatever, they gotta put lightning ball sticks.
Demonetized. We're not even monetized.
That's fair. Yeah, they put lightning ball sticks in the water. Give us money, come on. They put lightning ball sticks in the water. And whatever, Burnham's able to go to the place.
Ends up meeting her up, which is basically the Upside Down.
So they're in the Upside Down, but with like tentacle stars in the sky.
Yeah, it's like Upside Down underwater version. Yeah. Yeah, it's got very, like, underwater vibes. Anyway.
Yeah. So whatever the fuck that happens, she's got to remember some shit. She remembers that she has a boyfriend, and he's super rad. He's got blue hair. He looks like he should be in BTS from the future. It's great. He's also, the fucking kid who plays her boyfriend is this, like angelically smiling person all the time.
It's gorgeous.
And it's like he's like the most fun-loving person, and he's like, you're just like, wow, you block this off, because clearly this motherfucker's dead, and that is rough. This kid, he is the fucking coolest cat in the school. Or whatever. So, whatever, she's got to remember that she made him a gift right after he became a symbiote or a Trill, or whichever one he becomes, and then like a fucking meteor just hit their quarters.
Yeah, just like hits their ship. We're just like, what?
Pretty big eagle. So, so then they're like, the medical robots are like, he's dead. And she's like, save him. And they're like, nah. But like the symbiote's still okay. And so she's like, put it in me. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. We're medical robots. Who cares? So they put it in her, and somehow she survives the whole bloody thing, because humans aren't supposed to be able to do this. And that's the memory. In having the, in like fully reliving the memory, she's able to like reconnect with the rest of her past, including Saratol, Agiratol, Fredatol, whatever the fuck.
All the talls.
Whichever one is the one that we need to talk to. Who cares?
Senatol.
Senatol. Yeah, it's
I know
Senatol.
Because I keep thinking it's like a bird. There's a bird called a Senegal. It's like a parrot.
No, I don't think that's right.
I think it is.
No, that's like a heavy set white guy who knows kung fu. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So then they like come out of the water and everybody's just like, oh, like what happened? And she's like, I know all my names. It's cool, I got it. And they're like, all right, well, like we're gonna.
Like, I guess you're one of us. We no longer want to kill you because you're a human.
We're all friends. High fives all around nowadays.
Yeah.
I guess racism immediately stopped because of the liquid. So like we're gonna take care of you. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna go on Discovery. And they're like, okay. And then that's over.
Yeah.
And then the B plot is basically, it starts with the doctor walking. This is the beginning of the episode. It's such a great open too.
It is.
It's the doctor walking around like scanning people, just being like checking their medical vitals, and then he goes to the captain and he's like, "Hey, captain." Everybody's like, I guess healthy or whatever. Or no, everybody's like.
Everybody's physically fine.
Yeah, everybody's physically fit, and the captain's like, I thought. Why aren't you using the word healthy? And he's like, ooh, no, they're not. And then he slips to the second slide of his PowerPoint presentation, which is the, hey, you've made a fucking mistake slide. And everything's red and flickery. And he's like, everybody's stressed the fuck out,
dog. And there's like graphs and stuff. You don't know what they mean.
Whatever. They're moving. They're far enough away that nobody cares. And he's like, everybody's stressed the fuck out. Even you're stressed out. And the captain's like, what should we do? And he's like, unstressed, dog. So the doctor leaves, and the captain asks the computer, hey, like, my crew's stressed, what should we do? And the computer's like, you should tell, what was it? The computer's like, you should try yoga, or barometric pressure chambers, or, like, intergalactic shopping. And he's like, okay, none of those things are useful. What can we do? And then the ship flickers gently with the like sphere data stuff, and then like a different lady's voice comes out,
like
and
while
it's just like
Saru is turned away,
and like giggles, and it's like, maybe people should laugh, and he's like, nope, what? No, I don't know what's going on here. And she's like, what about like old silent films? They transcend language because there ain't no words in it, and like people can laugh and have a good time. You give them the night off and whatever. And he's like, okay, do we have other options? And she's like, you gotta have dinner together and like be cool. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore that. So he decides to give everybody the night off and invite the bridge crew, the doctor, the chief engineer, and Tilly, and Giorgio in. Or in my personal opinion, Giorgio crashed the party.
I think she was just invited because it was obligatory.
That was obligatory chocolate.
It was the invite where you're like, it would be cool if this person showed up, but they don't ever show up to stuff, but I have to invite them anyway. And then there's that one time that person shows up. And you're like, wow, I didn't think you were actually going to show up because you never show up to these things, and I invite you every time.
It's anime obligatory Valentine's and White Day chocolate. That's what that is.
Oh,
you know? You're like, oh, I got you these cookies. And he's just like, ah! And she's like, it's obligatory, motherfucker, relax. Every anime that has that. So he sits everybody down for dinner, and he starts giving like this moving speech about them all doing stuff together or whatever.
And it being so hard, and he's like so proud.
The most important part is that Giorgio just interrupts the speech, like just like spears a frog leg, and it's just like, you okay? It just like drops that shit. So that interrupts the speech, and then they start talking, and Giorgio makes like a sweet for Giorgio haiku. And then one of the other guys does a haiku, and then somebody else does a haiku. And then they ask the lady who got hit in the head with the implant to do a haiku, and she
flips her lid.
Fucking goes bananas.
Loses her mind.
She just cackles and makes a haiku about
a psychotic break.
Bloody Stamets bleeding the fuck out. And so that's not cool. And of course Stamets is just like, fuck you. And she's like, you think you're the most important. I flew the ship also. And he's like, good job with that shit. It crashed. And she's like, well, you're still safe because we crashed. You're not the only person that's proud. And then Tilly coming in with the fucking strong baseball bat just like, you guys are both being assholes. Shut the fuck up. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And of course, so everybody leaves.
Yeah, everybody huffs off, and Saru's
Giorgio grabs a bottle of wine and leaves. She's just like, at least the wine is good. Bounce. Yeah. So Saru's sitting there, and it is heartbreaking to see him, just like, he tried, it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, Tilly comes back and apologizes and is basically like, that was a Tuesday for my family, so don't worry about that shit. And then Stamets comes back and is like, hey, Tilly and Captain, sorry for being a dick. Like, let's work on Tilly's project. Like, maybe you're right, or whatever. And then, basically, like, the captain gets a, like, hey, you're invited to the fucking shuttlecraft bay. Goes to shuttlecraft bay, and they got, like, Buster Keaton playing on a hollow projector, like a fucking giant hollow projector, and the crew's, like, eating popcorn and laughing, which is a fucking solid Star Trek reference. I loved the movie nights in Voyager. I loved the movie nights in Enterprise. It's such a... And I love that they're, like, super old black and white movies and stuff. It's this sort of, like... I like the idea that it's this sort of, like, weird group thing that Federation ships do. You know, they have these movie nights, and it's... I don't know, there's something... I super love the idea of it, and I think they did a great job by including that in this episode. And so, like, we get the, like... you know, Giorgio's nice to the alien, or to the reptile guy, who's, like, one of my favorite characters for literally no reason. He's just super cool. And then, like, Stamets comes in and gives the cyborg head lady a hug because, like, he realizes that, like, she just kind of is dealing with the same shit that he's dealing with. And she didn't mean to be, like, a heinous monster bitch.
Oh, my God.
Because it's so dark. Holy shit. Dude. Like, how would you react if you were in his position and somebody started doing that? Like, I don't even know. I would just be like, no, I'm out. Fuck this book.
Like, crazily making a haiku about a mortal wound that you had that you survived.
Yeah.
That you
and then, like, putting you on blast about shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Stamets was, like, a bit of a fucking prick in this episode. In the beginning, right? But, like, everybody was acting weird, and that's the point, is that, like, they went through heavy trauma, and they're away from friends and family, and they're alone and abandoned, and they're going through all that kind of stuff, and the toll it took on the ship. Which is good. I like that they addressed that. It's incredibly timely for us in the middle of, like, 19 apocalypse. But whatever.
And going into the holidays.
Exactly. Yeah. So that happened. They whatever. Adira figured out where Federation is, so gives them the coordinates or whatever the hell that is, and, like, the crew decides, like, hey, we can be friends again. And then they like venture away to head towards Federation. Preview for next episode. So this was a solid episode. I really enjoyed
this. This was a really solid episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. So let's go pros and cons of this episode. Pros of this episode: Giorgio every time, all the time, because she's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked Burnham in this episode. Yeah. She was, like, willing to disobey orders and do non-Federation shit because it meant protecting this girl and, like, getting, like, for us, like, a good reason. She wasn't just like, I want this stuff. It was like, she could see, it felt like she could see herself in this girl without having to say it. And for the love of God, show, don't tell. And they did it this time, which is awesome. You know, regardless of the fact that she's, like, a giant eagle, and why would she be able to work in the sci-fi pond? Because she's not Trill, and she doesn't have the thing, and, like, she's functionally bulletproof, whatever. Yeah. Like, ignore all of her giant eagleness, because she's like a galactic eagle at this point, and accept that she was just, like, a caring person, and it was an awesome part there. The cons of this episode, honestly, was... There was a lot of little, like, onesie-twosie writing things that were sort of, like... I felt they were, like, a little fumbled, right? I feel like they compressed a lot into this episode, especially between the two subplots. And I think that the turn of the yellow tunics from just, like, let's murder this little girl and take our squid out of her fucking corpse, to, like, we're friends, high fives all around. Like, what do you want, some money or something? You can borrow $20. Like, that was too much. It was so insane that they were just like, wow, I guess fucking whatever, racism immediately disappears. I didn't like that. I felt like that was a little wrap-uppy. But, yeah, other than that, pros, cons. What do you think, pros, cons?
So, I think the pros are how they handled, like, all of the really heavy emotional stuff. This was a very emotionally driven and charged episode.
Yeah, it was a heavy episode.
And I felt like they did a really good job without making it, like, giving the things gravity, but without making them too heavy-handed. So that's definitely a big pro. Always Giorgio
Yeah, always Giorgio's amazing.
Burnham is quickly becoming like a character that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Which is something I can't say about season 2.
Oh my god, no. Yeah.
Like,
she was all Big Eagle, no character development.
And Saru.
Yeah, I really like Saru as a captain. It really feels like he's having to learn how to do this on the fly.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't have like maybe the social cultural maturity that like you would expect from somebody being ranked as captain.
Yeah.
It's nice. It really feels like he's growing with the crew as opposed to, and trust me, like, I love all the captains, but like as a general rule, captains are basically like infallible god people. And Saru doesn't feel that way, which is nice. It's a little different. I mean, it shifts the infallible god person to Burnham, who's second in command.
Yeah.
You know, she's the first officer, but still.
For cons, I would say that actually kind of leads into like the biggest con, which is like, and it's not even really a con. I don't actually have any cons for this episode, but it was super heartbreaking when Saru's making this like beautiful speech, and you can see that he's like dressed to the table like beautifully, and he's got presumably what would be like their favorite delicacies from each person,
cultural dishes,
from their like cultural dishes or whatever, and it's like in his quarters, and it's like decorated and
lush.
done and lush, and he's making this beautiful like Thanksgiving speech, and he's trying so hard to let them know that he cares, and then she just like, they all kind of have like a little psychotic break, which is like the penultimate kind of Thanksgiving trope, right?
It's the like Hollywood standard Thanksgiving, which is like everything's fucked, but
and everybody wants to fight.
That is like, a super heavy part.
That was a really heavy part, and that like that wasn't a con, but like that was so heartbreaking to see. And he's talking about how like it seems like Pike had it so easy to like connect with this crew, and I feel like I'm having to work so hard, and you just really feel the heartbreak that the actor playing Saru feels in this.
He's such a good fucking actor, dude.
It really moves you. So that's not a con. I wouldn't even say that there is a con.
Especially with that much applique on his face, to be able to really act like that in what little facial expression he can form, as well as like, breaking the third wall here, but like as little expression as he can form in that applique, and using tone of voice and other portions of body language, you can really tell that Saru is suffering a little.
Yeah,
he feels almost inconfident in his captainhood, and I agree. I think that's really good. It is dreadfully depressing, but I think that it did a really good job.
It's just that is like the part that's like that's like the rock bottom, as it were, for your emotions during this episode, because this episode takes you on a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. So best bits of this episode. I'm gonna say two best bits. Best bits is Giorgio just interrupting this heavy emotional speech just to be a bitch. Like, not even for a good reason. She didn't even have something witty to say, but it's so Giorgio. It's so fucking good, right? And then, of course, when bloody Yellow Tunic and the fucking lightsaber pitchfork twins roll in on Burnham and Adira, and Burnham's just like, bam, bam! None of this shit, motherfucker. Like, she's like the most hardcore action hero now.
Yeah.
Fucking love it. It's so good. Also, I super love her hair. Burnham's hair. Always best bits. I'm so into it, dude. I'm super into her hair. I dig it so much. What about you, best bits?
Best bits. There was a lot of good parts in this episode. There were a lot of
best bits.
But I'm going to go with these two. I super love that they made the boyfriend of Adira like this like future sci-fi K-pop boy band idol.
Yeah.
Who's got this like angelic and beatific like look to him.
It's almost like they had a filter on him the whole time, right?
Yeah, it is.
He was like glowing with like beauty and smiles and confidence. It was so weird, dude.
Well, he was glowing in the way that like the God King alien guy does in Stargate, but that glowing is like a sinister glowing, and this glowing is like a non-sinister glowing.
He's got like a raw glow, like R.A. raw, you know?
So that is like one of the best bits. My favorite bit from this whole thing is when they're like walking in the ponds, this garden that they've got, and then there's like this fish that's also a bird, and that is my favorite part.
It makes like these cute fish noises as it's swimming, and then it like jumps out of the water, and like something's unfolding.
We rewound
and it just goes like
We rewound it just to watch it again.
Off frame. It's
the best part. It's the entire episode, guys.
Yeah. So
what would you give this?
Ratings. You know what? This is a really good episode. I would give this 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
you know,
I would give this 4 out of 5.
Weird sort of like niggling detail writing things that were just like vaguely illogical or like didn't fully express the thing that they were clearly saying by what they that they were trying to express by what they were saying is the only thing that really knocks it down for me.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really love this episode.
Yeah, I really do too.
You know, what about you?
I would also give this a 4 out of 5. The only thing I would have really actually liked to see is they made the dream space memory place a little too much like the Upside Down, and it approached Uncanny Valley in a few ways that I wasn't super fond of.
Yeah, I feel like... I really feel like this is one of those episodes where it could have been 2 separate episodes. Yeah. I feel like they could have used more time to handle the crew suffering and really address not just main crew members, but like sub-crew members and how like things are maybe not getting done properly on the ship or something like that because of it, and how the stress is affecting these people just outside of like Saru noticing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like they could have done a lot more going to Trill. I think we could have got more on the planet. We could have got more on the culture, because like we know that yellow shirts are assholes, and we know that red shirts are cool, and we know that the brown tunic lady was like the one in charge or whatever. But really, other than just those words, most of the Trill knowledge I have that I'm bringing into this episode and that I'm bringing to the review and my thoughts on it are from DS9.
Yeah.
Not from this episode. And I feel like if you're not like a hyper fan like me, where like you've seen every episode so many times and you have like a vast swath of knowledge, the Trill planet and its culture and its people were just like raison d'etre. They were just like a thing that happened. You know, I don't know. It felt weird. I think they could have done more. It would be like if they just popped by to Vulcan, you know, in the next episode for 5 minutes on screen, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're not gonna fucking address something that important. It felt like both plots could have been separate episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
And that's really like my main problem with this is I wanted more out of each side.
Yeah, same.
You know, each side of the coin. But so what did you think? Let us know below. So like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, ring the bell, make our problems other people's problems. You know the fucking
Would you
bits.
pet a birdfish?
Would you pet a birdfish?
Would
you take a chest squid if it meant gaining the knowledge of all previous owners of that chest squid?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, of course, you live on immortal inside of this chest squid.
Yeah. Definitely.
So, that's pretty tight.
Yeah.
But, 10. Yeah, I would do that. Why not? Who cares? Yeah, immortal chest squid. I'll be in a... Yeah, let's do it. Let's immortal chest squid this up, bitch. But, yeah, so either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This has been Review Jive. It's Star Trek Thursday. I already told you about the liking and the such. And,
we'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.